Hello, I'd like to talk to you about present value. The definition of present value is equal to future value, as we see right up here. Future value divided by 1 plus r raised to the end, where FV is the future value, r is the growth rate, PV is the present value. And present value calculates what something would be worth today that you get n years from now. So suppose you win $1 million in the lottery right there. Congratulations, I'm glad you won. Very unlikely that you won, but let's say you did. Unfortunately, you don't get your $1 million for 10 years. In fact, in the real lotteries, I believe they pay it out every year for quite a few years, so it's definitely not worth the same amount. But in this case, they're going to give it to you all at one time, but not for 10 years. And assume the interest rate is 4%. Where did I get the 4%? I made it up. And what is the $1 million worth to you now? So let's notice we know what the future value is. We know it's $1 million. So let's write that down here. So let's see. So there's our $1 million. 6 zeros. Congratulations again. And then we have 1 plus the growth rate, 0.04, raised to the 10th, 10 time periods, 10 years. What is that equal to? Well, and this is the present value. Make sure we put that in there to make sure we've got everything in there. And I calculate it is $675,564.17. So in other words, if you put $675,564.17 in the bank today at 4% interest, at least assuming they would give you 4% interest, in 10 years you will have $1 million. Now that would be, notice the relationship between present values and future values. In fact, let's double check our work. So we'll take our 675,564.17, and that's actually rounded. And then we'll multiply that by 1 plus 0.04 for 10 years. And what do you get? Well, let me calculate it really quickly here. And I calculate, so 675,564.17 times 1 plus 4% raised to the 10th power, and we get basically $1 million. And so we just checked our work here. So this thing's going to be equal to about $1 million. So you can always use, check your work by doing present value. If you have something coming in 10 years, calculate present value, see what it's worth, and then double check it. Take the 675,564.17 times 1 plus 0.04, and this would be a future value calculation. Because before we knew, so now that I know the present value, where this is a present value and the growth rate, I can calculate the future value. Well, I know the future value was $1 million, but a great way to double check. It's amazing how often I have students who don't double check their work, are absolutely sure they got it right, and they didn't. So double check your work. I think it's a good idea.